Here's the introduction to Harvey's talk. Well, what is meditation? What's it about? Why are we doing it? Well, to galvanize our divine nature and to look for our true beingness inside. And if we're just lollygagging along life, and none of you are, I don't think, but people that are, don't get that feeling ever. But we want to get it to the point where we can be there all the time in the divine nature rather than in the ego nature. So it takes practice, takes lots of practice, it says here. Choose techniques though that are best for you. And if I give you several techniques and you don't like any of them, just throw them out and just use the ones that you like, or else get some other ones. And I'll mention this a number of times, but have no expectations of your meditation. Just do it and just watch the results. If you have expectations, you're just throwing yourself off course. Harvey says this about meditation, about the work we're going to do today. This may be the most useful work that you'll ever do in your life for this time on earth, because that's what this is all about, is learning about the Spirit. So here are our tips for meditation, and there's nothing magical about this, but let's just do it. You have to sit comfortably, and then keep your spine straight. Why? Because the energy flows better when it's straight through the chakras. And keep your eyes closed or keep them partially open. And people that keep them partially open are usually looking up at their third eye like this. You don't have to make yourself cross-eyed, but just look up, turn in a little bit, and let them be there. And then if you go to the Self-Realization Fellowship, they'll teach you the point where you'll gradually see a big blue light outside of another wonderful blue light, and then a guru or some great saint in the middle, and it's amazing. And then there's a star. And I've been there, not too often, but it can be done. Now, try to feel serene and try to be at peace. Make up your mind before you start that you're going to be at peace. Making up your mind about anything is where to go. I mean, you say, I'm going to be at peace, and you assert your will, and you become peaceful. And meditation requires peacefulness. So try to be serene and secure. And try this as well. Imagine a big lump of butter on a warm windowsill in the summertime. And if you've got fear or tension, and you watch it melt, and you'll watch your tension melt away in the same way. Think of yourself as that butter melting away your tension. That's a good little practice. Now, be content with being, here I'm repeating it, be content simply to be. I'm saying it in a different way, but just try to be. Your mind will naturally clear, and open yourself to grace and transformation. And again, you can talk to God and you can ask Him for grace in your meditation and transformation, and it'll work better because He's helping. Dive into your essential nature. When you start to do the meditation, just think of diving inside. And if you haven't looked inside for a long time, you'll start to feel that. It's beautiful in there. If thoughts run riot, that's okay. That's the monkey mind. It happens to everybody. And don't get excited about it. Just look at it and realize that it's only the circus that's your mind. And if you look at it, it'll just like I said the other day when I was giving a talk, they'll roll up into a little ball and go away, because they can't stand you looking at them without accepting them and being attached to them. Just think of your thoughts, any thoughts that come, as your family, and like little children in the family running around. And that's the thing, let them go. And also the practice itself is to be liberating. But you're not going to try to get to be liberated. You're just going to do the meditation, be at peace, and maybe you will feel more liberated as time passes. I want to tell you that all beings are part of a cosmic web. Why? Because we send out energy waves. And everything else in the world is sending out energy waves. And they're all mixed up with all of us. We're receiving and we're sending, and it's all happening. And so, this is a wonderful opportunity to be of service to mankind. When you're meditating, if you think of it as you're doing this for everybody, not just for yourself, it becomes more important, and you're more likely to want to do this more often because you've got compassion in your heart and you want to help others. And you don't want to feel separate. You know, we come in here and most of us feel separate from God and separate from each other for a long time, but we're not separate. We're all connected. That's the truth. That's the truth in science, and that's the truth in spiritual awakening. So we're all part of a cosmic web, and so we become of service. Meditate with compassion and forget the body. Just forget the body, let the body go. But know this, no matter what you're doing here, know this. You have the right to call on God for help. You have a divine right to call on God for help. Because God is your Father. Our Father who art in heaven. That's the prayer of all the religious people around the world. They call him the Father. If you go to India, the yogis will call him Divine Mother, or Friend, or the Beloved. You call it what you want, but whatever you bring it through and ask for help. That's the big thing, is you get tuned in with that. I told you that Harvey uses the breath a lot. Well, here's some ways, and he uses the breath. You've heard of people breathing in something and then breathing out tension or whatever. So here's one. Breathe things in that are good, and bad things out. Example is breathe in God's power. And you feel it, God's power going into you. And then breathe out tension, all the tension inside of you and all the negativity. You want to get rid of it. Breathe in patience of God and breathe out any resistance. And I won't go into all those much more except to just mention them. And you can think up your own as you go, if you like. Breathe in humility and breathe out and dissolve everything in you that is afraid to bow down to God. Because if you're afraid to bow down to God, you sure don't have humility. Okay? Breathe in God's bliss, because as you meditate and as you get better and better at this, and as you become a master in it, you will go from more and more joy to bliss. So ask for it right now. Breathe in God's bliss. You want it. And breathe out any blockages that you have to that. And I will give you more examples. We could go on and on ad nauseum. When I came to this church, I gave a talk on gratitude because I thought gratitude was way up there. One of the top things that you could do in this life as far as spiritual awakening is concerned. Gratitude. You might not think of that, but here's what to do. Use gratitude as a tool here. See everything you love and need streaming into you in a never-ending river of grace from God. See it that way. See that river streaming into you all the time, because that's what's happening. He's giving you these wonderful things all the time. A grateful heart then helps us revere God. Be thankful to Him for all these wonderful things, and it makes us humble. That's it. I could go on like that for chapters, but I'm not going to. That's all you need is that one paragraph, and if you got that, you're in. You've heard of the Om chant? Well, I just was looking at something this morning. I looked up that doctor that, what was his name, that had an infection in his brain and went into an out-of-body experience. Yeah, Dr. Eben Alexander. And he said, when he was out there, he said what he was feeling, he was like floating in a sea of Om. That sound apparently pervades the universe. Om is cosmic consciousness, and it's beyond words or concepts, and I can't explain it to you. Nobody can. We don't have to try. We just have to use it if we want to. Use the lower notes where you would be speaking tenderly to someone, and not high notes in high pitch, like, oh, no, it's oh, a large rolling thunder out of you. And see, and use the same power all the time. Like, don't keep changing the pitch. Keep the same pitch on. And the pitch makes you receptive to joy. And when you stop chanting, savor the joyful ringing silence inside of you. And just be. Okay. Now, I'm just going to bring in physiology here because, you know, I've studied physiology and I want to correlate with science with what we're doing here. But if you hum, if you go, or you hum, same thing, you produce what? Nitric oxide in your blood. And that goes to your endothelium. That's the lining of your blood vessels, your arteries. And it helps to open them up. It makes you a more healthy person. It lower blood pressure and all the rest. It's a wonderful thing. So I'm just showing you the correlation between those two. For hundreds of years, people on the path have used this technique. They've asked themselves, who am I? Who am I? I mean, you look at yourself, you're not this facade, this facade that you have here, this costume that you have on, and this facade that you use in this room, or this other facade that you use with somebody else, and this other facade you use. You're none of those. Just let all that go. That's Halloween. Ask yourself repeatedly, who am I? And you come to realize that your real self is not the body or any of the five senses or the mind. And so then you say, when you got that, you say, this I am not. And then go on to deeper levels. What remains is strictly consciousness. And that's another gift that we've been given. I just want to point that out now as I'm saying that. Consciousness is a powerful gift that we have. We can be conscious. Like I can be conscious of this room and I can just look like this and I can see everything and take it all in without saying a word to myself, without explaining it. And it's all there. When you're meditating, you can feel yourself growing into a mountain, bigger and bigger and bigger, out into the cosmos. You come to realize that the real self is not the body or any of the five senses and so forth. And also I want to point out, you are an immortal being. You're an immortal being. And I'll talk to you about that in a minute, a little more. Next, go into society's definitions of you. They call you a plumber or a teacher or a nurse or whatever. And that's not you. That's a little facade that you put on. After each one, and you get it down and you understand it, say, I am not that. I am not that. And you'll get deeper and deeper. When any thoughts or emotions arise, simply ask yourself this. Ask yourself this. Who is feeling or thinking this? Who is it? And you look back in your brain and you become attached to the witness inside of you. It's the I am. The I am is your consciousness. And it's beautiful and it's powerful. Your source of all passing emotions and thoughts. Focus the mind on the I am and not on the I am so-and-so. Let that go. That'll disappear. Read this book. Write it down if you wish. Untethered Soul. With the group that's been here before, I've given a lecture on the untethered soul. And we might have even done a book review, have we? Oh, well, we're going to do that. We're going to do a book review on the untethered soul. It's a fascinating book. And there's a whole large chapter on that one thing that we were just talking about. Who am I? We've also done a talk and a book review on being home with God from this fellow that did all the conversations with God. And Harvey says, have conversations with God. To do that, repeat over and over again, right here in your heart, Heavenly Father, in a heartfelt way, and devotion, with devotion, and you'll be filled with love of God. He says, and I think he's right, and I think we should try it. You may find it difficult to speak to God at first. It's okay. Some of the greatest mystics have had difficulty. Most of us might have difficulty talking to God. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, okay. But we can do that. Tell God simply how much you crave to speak to Him. If you can't, how much you crave. And ask Him for help. Don't give up to the feelings of estrangement or distance. Just keep trying. Talk to God about how you feel, lost, or sad, or fearful, or distant. Ask God repeatedly for help. He'll give you help, not in the instant, but maybe the next day. And the way He'll do it is through guidance, or through intuition, or through serendipity. It'll just come to you. You'll be washing the dishes and it'll just come to you. The answer will come to you. The feeling will come to you. You know what serendipity, everybody knows what serendipity is. Anybody that don't? Okay. Wonderful things that happen spontaneously. The nice thing about this is that this gives you a method of detachment where you can see yourself in the divine instead of in the ego. And detachment's where it's at. Okay. See, I've got to take this whole big thing and turn it into a 20-minute lecture. And it's hard because we're just going over really deep things very quickly. But what I want to give you a taste, I want to give you the feeling that you want to go there. You can use great statements that have happened in the world or prayers. St. Francis' prayer is that. St. Francis' prayer is a great statement of spirituality. And I'm going to go over it with you word by word, just for fun, because we've got to kind of understand it, and let's get all on the same page here of trying to understand it. And you may have some other ideas. He starts out by saying, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. You're asking for peace. You're asking to become an instrument of peace. But there are some things that are going to have to get fixed up here inside to really, truly be at peace. He says, where there's hate, let me sow love. Sow into the ground love so it can grow. And I say, lather, love, this is my words, not St. Francis, lather, love lavishly, the 3 L's. You can do this all the time. That's what love is. It's inside of you. Just lather it lavishly. Just think of you doing that all the time, wherever you go. Doesn't matter, you can let it go. The more you spread love around, the better this world will be, the better you will be. Where there is injury, you're not looking for retribution, you're looking for pardon. Pardon, yes. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. You see it in others or you see it in yourself. Give them hope. Where there's darkness, see light. And you'll actually see lights eventually. Where there's sadness, joy. And you'll be seeing joy when you're doing these meditations there. And then he turns the whole thing on its head. And he says, "O divine master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console." In other words, you meet someone, you're not trying to console yourself, you're trying to console them. You're always thinking about them, not you. Not so much seek to be understood. You know, you get into a conversation with people, you want them to understand who you are and what your problems are and so forth. No, just concentrate on understanding them and try to give love to them rather than seeking love. And what happens? Magic happens. In giving, we receive. And all this will come back to you like in abundance. Not to worry, you're not going to be left out. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying to self, in other words, getting rid of the ego, that we are born into eternal light, or love, or life. Now here's how you do it. You've got the prayer now. Place your hand on your heart, over your heart, and say fervently, God, 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 or whatever other one you want to use. And read St. Francis's prayer slowly. Try to enter into the meaning of every word. Ask God to help you. It may draw you into a passionate silence in your heart. When that silence arises, stop inward praying. Just stop and just be. Just be, and just be with the feeling. Continue only when your mind gets restless again. And then go on. And as we're doing with everything, dedicate this all to all beings in the world, because we're in a cosmic web, aren't we? Just dedicate it to them, and they'll get some benefit out of it. Just being in your presence will become a joy and a privilege. Send healing light to everyone. Feel yourself doing it. And that feels good inside. Now we're just about finished. Ordinary magic. This is like ordinary magic. But are you here for it? Are you here for it? I'm going to ask you this question. We have only this moment. Life is a whole series of little moments where it comes in, you have an experience, and then it passes. Once it's passed, it's gone. It's in the past. You can't use that anymore. Let it go. There will be more moments, but use each one by being in the present. Being in the present. What did Ram Dass say? What did he say? What did Ram Dass say? Be here now. Be here now. That's what he learned from his guru in India. That's what he learned from all of the work that he did all his life trying to understand these things. And he came up with 3 words: be here now. That was sort of the most important clincher. If you're not present, you miss the meaning. You miss the pleasure of being, its fullness and its bliss. You can have all that because they're all part of you if you're present. Just be relaxed and joyful wherever you are. Just try to get into that modus operandi. You're going to be happy and joyful wherever you are. Or you could change your mind and just be grumpy all the time. God is constantly giving us guidance. As I say, he's like the coach sending in a play to the quarterback. And intuition. And you're getting ideas all the time. Here's your ship, you're going along and you're getting a little bit off course and then you get on course again. You get on course again. And he's keeping you on course. And when you realize it, you start really appreciating that guidance, and you love it and you encourage it. But when you don't realize it, you're kind of distant from it. And even if you do get it, you don't appreciate the fact that you've been given guidance, and you may not use it. And he's given us another gift, the greatest gift that any being or in this cosmos could ever have. What is that? Immortality. We're the only beings that we know of. Yeah, there are other cosmoses like this in the universe. We don't know anything about them, but right here, what we know is that we've been told we're immortal. And it doesn't often register in our mind. I mean, you look around at the cosmos and you see everything going on in a very intelligent way, and you think, yeah, there must be an intelligence in this world. You might understand it at that level. But do you take it and turn it into, that's God, and I can have him right here in my heart? It is a precious gift that we have. Nothing could be bigger than that. We'll never die. You'll never die. And once you know you're never going to die, you could just go out and have a party, because you could just be so happy. You're not going to die. You're just going to go on forever. And it's okay. Just whatever happens is okay. Okay, kids, the only thing is that there's a mirage, and we're all subject to it. You've been created in God's image, yes, but we live in a mirage, and the yogis wanted to give it a name. They called it Maya. It's like a big blanket put over top of you, and you don't remember anything from your past lives or the ones to come or anything else. He makes you concentrate on what you're doing right here. But we have to try to get out of that, and as we grow spiritually, we will eventually become totally aware of our true being. And when we do, then even mundane little things that don't seem like anything now will feel like great joy in your heart. And so you run around like Snoopy, dancing with joy for just no relevant reason. It's just happy. That's the way I want to be. Okay, so I want to thank you sincerely, because when I spend a lot of energy doing a précis on a book, I have to concentrate and get the substance out of that. And then when I break it down into a lecture, I have to really have it in my heart. And if I don't, I can't do it. So you are giving me the opportunity to be on track in the spiritual lightning that I want to have. And I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.